Touchstorm is a company that is creating a whole new form of brand communication. So think about a web page. You have the fringes, the display advertising, essentially the stuff that goes across the top or down the right or that box. And it is now possible with technology, it's quite easy to take a video and buy yourself some display advertising and make sure that the consumer has an option to turn it on, and of course some of them even auto roll and that sort of thing. What we do is a little bit different. It is the center of the page. It's the thing that the publisher is featuring because they think it's content that's worthy of featuring. In this video era, there's a real question about what can you do reliably to get lots and lots of people to see a video? So Touchstorm has created a large group of websites that have told us that they love our content and they want more of it. The Touchstorm Editorial Network is a large group of quality sites on the web. Huge sites, medium sites, custom vertical sites, bloggers who have all agreed to run Howdini's content front and center on their page. So the network is a way that we, through a brand name called Howdini, get content out, and sometimes it is brands that are putting their content through the system if they pass the Howdini test. We believe that brands have the right to be experts in this day and age when everybody's producing content. Who has the right to help the consumer learn how to do something or find something out that he or she is trying to find out? And we think that brands deserve a place in that space. We help brands reach a lot of people through online video, get those people to engage for 3 to 8 minutes with the brand, and then we help certain brands who want to convert audience so that once a consumer watches a video and basically says, thank you for helping me figure out something I was trying to figure out how to do, that there's a place they can click or an offer that they can take advantage of to then convert. So reach, engagement, conversion is what Touchstorm is really all about. Yeah, we believe brands have the right to be experts in content, that brands don't always have to be the advertiser, that they know things that are just as worthy of being laid down on video and being used to help the consumer. So if you think about it, who knows more about oral care, for example, than the people at Crest and Oral-B, for example, Procter & Gamble brands. They've done a heck of a lot of research on this subject. Who knows how better to do your hair and what products work on hair and how you achieve certain effects than one of the leading hair care companies like a Pantene. Publishers are looking to enhance their traffic and publishers are looking to enhance their revenues. And with video today, the higher quality video you have, and frankly, the more of it that you have, I think we're running at 100% sellout rates these days, the easier it is to be able to monetize a website. Specifically with our content, we actually optimize it for search, and we've pre-wired the content, hardwired it, for success in search. So when a publisher signs up with us, they're getting content that we know that people are already out there looking for and that we have optimized to work really well on their site. We hardwire content for search results, and that means basically we figure out ahead of time what are people looking to find out. You know, I think there's a stat, it's that 58% of all searches are for information, which usually takes people by surprise, but we think of how you and I use the web, that's what we're often searching for. And when people go searching for information and we're tracking what the most popular topics are and making that content ahead of time, that means that what the publisher's getting out of it is content that they know is hardwired for search success. The reason Howdini exists is because it clearly targets a certain group of people, mostly women, women who are looking to find out certain kinds of things. And it has its own voice and its own personality and really the way that it delivers information. And Howdini's really like the editor of a magazine, or it's a magazine itself, in that it's a way of speaking to the consumer and knowing that you're able to get messages through. And it stands for something, and now has hundreds of millions of views around the web. And what Howdini stands for is a brand of content that is upbeat and personable and always well shot and always well lit and always uses, for example, national experts, people who have been on television, people who know how to communicate a message, with a really well-researched journalistic approach to the content that we take. And that's what the consumer sees. Well, we all know that brands love television, and there's a reason why. It's because it's the reach medium. And so as we look at, how do you get brands to take that TV money and bring it on over to the web, the first component that they have to have is scalability. You have to be able to reach a lot of people. And interestingly enough, although pre-roll is starting to get there and some reach can be attained, that's advertising. That's the interruptive part. And we're trying to figure out, how do we get the reach when the brand is the content? And so far, the only way to do that has been viral video, which is where a brand really takes their chances, right? You spend $250,000, $500,000 on a piece of production, and you put it out there, and you hope that something happens. And we know statistically that only 1 in 500 of those videos ever gets more than 500,000 views, and that's not reach. So what we've done is create a system that allows for reach to be delivered reliably, not in the form of advertising, but when the brand is in the content. From an engagement standpoint, what we know is it is really hard to get people to turn on a video and to watch it all the way through. Typically when people turn on a video on the web, they turn it off in the first 10 or 20 seconds. Not good. With our content, we have worked really hard to make sure that the way that we've cut it is completely engaging and that it's cut on a subject that people are already interested in. It's hardwired for search success. So what that means is, what we found it means, is that when people go looking on the web for a topic, how do I get Taylor Swift curls, or how do I make a princess birthday cake for my kid? We end up having a piece of content that when they turn it on, they have chosen to watch it. And so what that means is you now get 3 to 8 minutes with the consumer. Typically, people aren't turning off our videos until the last 20% of it, which is when we're basically signing out and that sort of thing. So true engagement, long engagement with a brand, and great information for the consumer. Conversion is about high-value actions, HVAs. What do we want the consumer to do? We typically see 3 major high-value actions that brands want. Either they want to be able to give out more information, which is a great help to the consumer, of course, or put an offer into the hands of a consumer, so that maybe it's a form of a coupon, digital or analog, whatever. And the third is that they can actually move forward and buy the product somehow and take advantage. What Touchstorm does is editorial video, and so the question becomes, what's editorial video? And the best way to look at that is to compare and contrast it with other things that are going on. So a brand, what are its options? And if it wants to be in the content and not just advertising, of course, that's a whole other form of video. But one of the ways that brands go about this today is branded entertainment. So to somehow do something that integrates the brand into some sort of storyline in a webisode or whatever it might be. We know that that can often fit a brand's objectives, but we also know that people aren't searching for drama that takes place in a hairstyle place in a zany way. It's not really what goes on. Another thing that brands can do is viral video, or even try to make some of that branded entertainment go viral. And we know a lot about viral video now. The measurement companies have been looking at this for years now, and we know that only 1 in 500 ever gets more than 500,000 views. And very often, even to get those, you have to buy placement for that viral video as if it were an ad. So what we do, contrasted to both those things, we call it branded information, where we believe that brands have the right to be an expert inside video, that they know things that the consumer is searching for and looking for, and that in communicating those things, they can be a great help to the consumer. That's what we call editorial video. Video that is quality enough and unbiased enough and journalistic enough to take its place in the center of the page of major publishers. And it's a brand strategy that works for a lot of brands, or a communication strategy that works for a lot of brands, but not every brand. But for those it works for, it works really well. Touchstorm began as an outgrowth from another company. That other company is a company that we started many, many moons ago. It's a marketing company, a company that works with really big brands to do some fairly important things in marketing. But when 2006 and 2007 came along, it was really clear that that company needed a digital place to go. And frankly, that sent me out talking to a group of CMOs, one at a time, to say broadband's coming. I kind of knew we wanted to head toward digital video. I just wasn't sure what it all looked like. And we asked the CMOs, as it comes, what will be important to you? And what was really interesting was they were more worried about what they didn't want it to be. And what they didn't want it to be was just the television model migrating over very simply to the online model. That online has too much to offer in terms of engagement, in terms of it's the consumer space, and so you don't want to just interrupt. So their biggest fear was, I hope it's just not about pre-roll. But when asked, but what do you really want? What would you like to see happen? The magic formula was, we need the reach of television, but we need the engagement that the internet has to offer. And a bonus on top of that is conversion. We want conversion of direct marketing. Put those three together, Alison, and you have a winner. And that's what our team sat down to figure out, what kind of product will deliver all three of those things to the biggest marketers in the world. Touchstorm had pioneered a very push-oriented marketing vehicle in that we had great content and we pushed it to publishers who then, of course, accepted it and ran it. What was interesting is, as our ComScore numbers rose, the publishers seemed to take notice of it. As they made some of their own quality content, they came back to us and said, all right, we've got stuff that we think qualifies to be inside your Howdini editorial environment, and we'd like to give it to you and have you get it out to your larger network, of which we're a part. And so the video exchange is, you can think of it kind of like a stock exchange for content. We have brands that want to get messages out. We have experts that are making video that want to get their videos out. We have publishers that need video. And then all kinds of allied tools that go with it, whether it's the monetization and the pre-roll, whether it's conversion tools that publishers can also get paid on, whether it's links that drive traffic around inside of our network from publisher to publisher to publisher. It's a whole set of tools that we've made really easy for publishers to use. So the way the Touchstorm Video Exchange works basically is that we've created a really publisher-friendly user interface, an advertiser-friendly user interface for that matter, where publishers can sign up to be a member of the exchange. It's, of course, free. And the publisher can come in and they can shop for content and they can shop for monetization options. And it's all very neatly set up in a way that allows them to look around and decide what will benefit their site the most in terms of content and traffic and revenue. Media agencies have such a big challenge today. They don't just have to integrate the big seven traditional media, but now they've got all this innovation going on, and innovation is dividing into more innovation, and video is very much that way. So for agencies, we try to do two really important things. One is to let them know about the corners of the world that we're associated with, editorial video and editorial video distribution, and all the related things that go with that, social media, and make sure that they have the materials that they feel like they are completely on top of it and they can communicate whatever they'd like to their clients. But beyond that, we have to make it easy to buy. We all know that innovation is difficult, to slog it out, and it can just take a long time and really make it difficult for the agency to do its other job, which is to bring things in on time and on budget. And so what we've done is make our product really easy to buy. And that's been a challenge for us, and we'll continue to work on that over time. But we want agencies to know that they can turn to us and that we won't ask them to rework every system that's been invented just to be able to do business. I'm a child of media. I grew up in the radio industry, in the broadcasting business. And one of the things I've had the privilege of seeing is that as media, any medium gets older, it tends to split. So television begins with an advertiser having the choice of advertising on television. And over time that changes. They now have a choice of cable or of network television. Now there's even more choices. And we've seen it with the internet too. For example, in search, a marketer has an option of, do I want to work on paid search or do I want to work on organic search? We think that as digital video advertising moves forward, that what will happen is that if a brand says, I would like to do video advertising, the question will be, would you like to do pre-roll or would you like to do content? You know, do you want to be around the content or do you want to be the content? Those are two fundamental choices, and they both work to accomplish different objectives, but we really believe that being the content is a viable option for brands, and that we're the company that has really stated that they have the right to be there and has created the vehicle to get them there. And obviously, as that category develops, we plan on leading it.